Hello everyone and welcome yourselves back to the YouTube channel, and here we are to review Band of Brothers episode 1, a 10 episode mini-series if you will, limited run series from Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, leave a like and comment down below your thoughts on Band of Brothers. So for years I have wanted to watch Band of Brothers. It's been raved about and spoke about so highly, and it is one of the highest rated uh, TV shows of all time, one of the highest rated things of all time. And basically, the series talks us through, or guides us through, and dramatizes the history of Easy Company, the 2nd Battalion, 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division. And what we get to see in the first episode is all the training, like the 2 year build up to their first airborne mission. And I think that there's a lot of mention of Normandy. So I think Normandy might be the first one that we go to in episode 2. But yeah, but if you're a fan of history, if you're a fan of, I think Saving Private Ryan was done by Spielberg and Hanks was involved. So it's kind of funny that they've come together to make this, which in my opinion is one of the strongest starts to a series of all time. You've got there's so many famous people who weren't even famous here who are now in 2026 are famous actors. Um, I think what this episode did was it showed the conditions that they worked and lived in, the way the military was run, the way the army and the airborne and all these different groups were run with different people at different powers, the lieutenants, the sergeants. Um, and it was really interesting just to watch it all come to life, to see the dates, showing the chronology of the dates, um, just seeing the brilliant acting, the shots and the direction, the cinematography was brilliant. Um, it was just so interesting to watch how much they went through in the 2 years. I think at the start you get to see some of the people who actually were part of this group, part of the battalion. So that was interesting to get their take on it and talk about it. This came out in 2008, so many years after World War II had finished. But yeah, I think for someone who's only just going into this but loves history and loves especially World War II history, I thought it was amazing to see the living conditions they're in on one of the boats when they're going from America to England to where they have to do like practice runs of finding what they need to and working together as a team using code signs. And Thor, who's obviously never been in the army, in the military, or any of that sort of stuff, it's so interesting because you hear stories and you hear how things are done to actually visualize it. And I think Tom Hanks and Spielberg and the rest of the crew did it so well, from the costumes to the way the act as soldiers. It's so. I would presume all these guys have been in the army. The way they were able to put on such a performance that is so precise, to what it was back in the day. And it was just so cool because you think people rave about a show and you think, is it actually going to be as good as it is? And you watch it and then you see this group of people, this group of guys. I mean, Stephen Graham was part of the group. The guy who plays Ross in Friends, I think he was really cool, but you made to hate him. The ginger haired guy, one of the lieutenants, he was a fantastic guy. And it was cool to see the relationships that were formed over this one episode as we go into the 9 episodes that are going to explain and showcase fights on the beaches, in the air, on the streets. So I'm very excited to get into more of the Band of the Brothers episode, and it will expand more of my knowledge on what they went through and stuff. So yeah, what did you guys think of episode 1 of Band of Brothers? Have you ever seen it before? This is my first time watching it. I can't wait to watch this on a weekly basis and talk to you guys more about it and learn more about the airborne stuff. You hear about the beaches of Normandy, you hear about the Holocaust, you hear about all the other stuff that went on during World War II, but you're never going to know everything until you watch more stuff and branch more out. So yeah, I'm very excited to watch more of Band of Brothers from next week. Subscribe as always, and I'll see you next one. Goodbye.